Mr. X held two dark metal rings, each weighted heavily, in his hands, brandishing them with a sinister pride. He raised them high, displaying them like trophies that symbolized his dominance over the situation. This theatrical gesture emphasized his control and served as a chilling prelude to the further subjugation he planned for Adam, underscoring the ruthless nature of his authority. The criminal lord handed one of the heavy metal rings to Jake and nodded, signaling him to assist. Holding Adam tightly in place, Jake prepared him for what was to come. With the ring in his hand, Mr. X approached the kneeling Adam, ready to continue his calculated torment. The audience, gripped by the unfolding drama, held their breath in anticipation, their focus riveted. With sinister precision, Mr. X began the deliberate process of attaching the ring to Adam's right inviting nipple. The action was slow, each movement calculated to heighten the tension and underscore his complete control over the situation. This meticulous attention ensured that every second prolonged the anticipation and discomfort, making it a stark display of dominance in front of the captivated audience. Despite his vulnerability, the ex-Special Forces agent braced himself for the ordeal, channeling his resolve to suppress any sign of distress. His pectoral muscles tensed involuntarily as the ring was applied to his sensitive nub, a physical reaction he couldn't control. However, he managed to maintain his composure, holding back any sounds of discomfort with sheer willpower. This display of stoic endurance, even in the face of acute pain, highlighted the strength of his spirit. But Adam could not fully suppress his reaction when the second ring was applied to his left nipple. A soft, faint hiss escaped, audible only to Mr. X and Jake, who were nearby. This minor lapse drew cruel smiles from both men as their eyes met, sharing a moment of sadistic satisfaction. They knew these were his weakest points, and his barely contained reaction confirmed it, marking a victory in their psychological game. Each ring was strategically positioned to maximize the strain on Adam's already taxed muscles. The added weight of the rings tugged relentlessly at his nipples, serving as a physical manifestation of the immense pressure he was enduring. This constant pull not only tested his physical endurance, but also symbolized the oppressive control exerted over him, further emphasizing his helpless state amid his captor's calculated torment. This was the passive torment, meticulously designed for the formidable man. After securing the rings, Mr. X and Jake stepped back slightly, giving the audience a full view of their handiwork. The scene was carefully orchestrated. A formidable military agent, fully restrained, fully naked, and accentuated by his kneeling pose, became the centerpiece of this grim tableau. His muscular form, showcased in such a vulnerable state, highlighted the stark contrast between his once powerful stature and his current condition. A murmur of surprise and admiration swept through the audience, as Adam was fully revealed, under the perfect stage lighting. The figure before them epitomized the masculine prowess they had dreamed of. Each muscle fiber tensed and prominently displayed. Every expression on his ruggedly handsome face, closely observed. As the initial murmurs subsided, a hushed silence fell over the crowd, each member eagerly anticipating any sound that might escape from the suppressed lips, waiting for even the faintest gasp to satisfy their voyeuristic cravings further. As the minutes passed, the living sculpture increasingly felt the burden of the weights on his sensitive nipples, each moment intensifying the threat they posed. Struggling against the relentless pull, he attempted to shift his substantial torso for some relief, but the tight restraints thwarted his efforts. His neck, wrists, manhood, and ankles were all securely immobilized, leaving him unable to find any position that eased the mounting pressure. This inability to move only amplified his discomfort, trapping him in an unyielding grip of metal and despair. Eager to demonstrate his loyalty and the accuracy of his information about Adam's vulnerabilities, Jake swiftly snapped his hand upward beneath one of the weights. This sudden movement intensified the pressure, directly targeting the sensitive areas precisely. It elicited a sharp hiss from the muscle-bound warrior, loud enough for the audience to hear. This audible reaction sparked a wave of excitement among the onlookers, who voiced their approval with a collective murmur of awe. Encouraged by the audience's reaction, Jake did the same to the other side of Adam's nipple, intensifying his tactic. As anticipated, this action resulted in an even louder hiss from his comrade. The heightened sound of discomfort drew louder approvals from the audience. Their excitement palpable in the charged atmosphere. This response only widened the cruel smile on Mr. X's face, as he took pleasure in the effectiveness of their strategy. Adam's jaw clenched in determination, his eyes aflame with pain and defiance. This ordeal transcended a mere test of physical endurance. It became a profound challenge to his spirit, a cruel trial, meticulously crafted to break him. Before him, an audience reveled in the spectacle, feeding on displays of dominance and suffering. Each moment under the weights tested his body and his resolve to maintain his composure and dignity in the face of overwhelming adversity.